Welcome to the third installment of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. I'm your host, Tiff Wells. With me today is former U.S. Women's National Volleyball team captain and setter, currently in year number 4 as the head coach of Rainbow Wahine Volleyball and the master of Zoom, Robyn Amo. Coach, welcome to Talk Story.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Aloha.
Aloha. How is it at home with the 3 kids?
Oh, I think I grew maybe about 100 gray hairs. But you know what? It's been a blessing. You know, I know this is a pandemic, but I think for me, it's been a big blessing because usually, you know, during the season, I'm usually away every other week on the road. And during the off season, we're usually out doing recruiting. So since March, I could be home with my kids. I mean, I know that's a lot of time, but, you know, I took advantage of that. I love
You
it.
mentioned to us this is your 5th Zoom of the morning. How has Zoom almost taken over your life, it seems?
Yeah. So Tuesdays is kind of like the biggest days. And, you know, I applaud my son. He's only 3, and he's the one that I have to actually be on the Zoom with. My kids are on it all day, but he's the one I have to be with on. And he had 4 today. So he's taking a break, and now this is my 5th.
Let's go to the playing days of McKinley. 4-year first team All OIA East, 3-time first team All State over at McKinley. What got you, or who was your influence into getting into playing volleyball?
Well, I played soccer first. I love soccer, but when I was little, I guess I couldn't handle all the kids kicking my shins. So I kind of got into that with the thing. Then I got into some basketball. I love basketball, shooting the hoop. That was a lot of contact too, so my mom had to take me away. And my parents, they both played volleyball at the gyms, grew up in Halava and Salt Lake Parks, and just followed them to the gym every day.
One of the great names in prep volleyball here in the state, the late Richard Okamoto. Everybody knew him as Longy, a longtime coach at McKinley. What was his influence on you?
Yeah, I think all of us Kamali gang, we all know him as Mr. O. And he was like, okay, I know he was a little bit older, but he was like another dad for a lot of kids. You know, the club scene now it's really expensive, but back then, like, he hardly charged anyone. So he would take in any kids that wanted to play volleyball, he would take them in, and he was so humble, you know. And I just like, for him, like, knowing him and him allowing me to play in the club my entire, like, I don't know, I think I started playing when I was in the 3rd grade or 4th grade till senior. Just try to give back like how he is.
You're finishing up your senior year at McKinley. What do you remember about signing day, and what other schools besides Hawaii were trying to recruit you?
Oh, signing. I don't even know if signing day was as big as now. There's so much really big things that the kids have now. I'm like, wow, when did that happen? I don't even think there was a signing day. I really can't remember. What I remember is just not wanting to go to school. I'm gonna be honest. I'm always honest. You know, I love playing sports, but school just wasn't one of my strong points. But signing day and the different schools that actually tried. There was one I really wanted to go to. I think it was Long Beach, but I don't think they sent me anything. I just thought it was cool when they came, and, you know, used to watch them in Clum Gym. They just look like, you know, just, I wouldn't say robots, just clean. But I think UOP did, Nevada. I don't know if UCLA did. I forget. But that's why, because I didn't really want to go to school. So.
What led you to pick to play for UH?
So mom sat me down one day and she said, hey, if you still want to play, you have to go to school. Like, you have to, you know, do what you have to do. So I think Dave came in. I think I told this story a while back. Dave came in. He sat me down with my counselor at McKinley, and he said, hey, and if you want to come, you can come, but you have to do all of these. So my junior year, going into my senior, I had to take some summer school classes just to, you know, be able to get into college. And I guess it was all uphill from the end.
The state where you were born and raised, how cool was it to play for the University of Hawaii?
I think back then it was watching it was like crazy. We're like, oh, look at that. We'll never be, some of, me and my friends are just like, wow, that would be great just to play. But as I got older, I was just like watching them like, there's no way I could play with them. I'm too small. I was only, I don't know, trying to maybe busting 5'7". But actually walking in, and that was Clum Gym. Nervous, crazy nervous. And I was a quiet person. Yeah, I'm still quiet, but at least I talk now. But quiet person. And when he was like, hey, you're going in. I'm like, what? Just nervous. But it's amazing. And I think we appreciate it even more when we leave. Like, within the years, it got like, wow, this is how big it is. And then, after a while, the Stansheriffs, and then it just got, way bigger. So the appreciation is huge, especially being born and raised here. Yeah.
What's your fondest memories of playing in Clum Gym?
Well, the first one was I didn't want to wear those bun hugger things that they wore. I said, Dave, can we please wear tights? That was one I didn't like. And I would say the fans, like they make it crazy, just everybody's just packing in, sitting on the floor. I think that lady's name was Mary. I think we called her Mary, that just used to sing and, walk around in the back. I'd say the fans. Yeah.
Midway through your sophomore season, you folks moved from Clum to what was then the Special Events Arena. What do you remember about that opening night, that first match against San Jose State?
Okay, well, I think it was crazy. The lines were, I think, wrapped around the arena. And I actually had some families, my cousins were camping out because everybody wanted tickets. And I don't know if Dave knows this, but I think I stayed overnight with them and just hung out and just was talking to everybody there. And I don't know, it was amazing. I've never seen that before. And I don't know if there's any other collegiate volleyball team that, that happened to. Maybe pro teams, but yeah.
What was it like to play for Dave?
How much time we got? Nah, just joking. I mean, I said this before, he was really strict back in the day. But I guess it was for a good reason. We all turned out good. Strict, got blamed for everything, but it definitely made me a stronger player and person by far. So I could handle that.
Did you think that one of your best friends would be somebody who would be your pepper partner and she would come from another country? And we're talking about Coach Angelica Yoonquist right here.
No. Did I think that I was actually going to, I don't know, what is that? Like when she came, I just thought that oh man, this girl is kind of like a lady. And she's like, she seemed older because Europeans. And when I played overseas, I know why. But I don't know, she just seemed like she probably was a senior already, and I'm here a little, freshman, Kolohe kid, like coming in and, but for some reason we just clicked. And we're like, hey, you want to be pepper partners? And it just started from there. Did I know it was going to bloom into this, relationship that we have now as friends and now as coaches? Like, no. But it's been an amazing ride.
She was recently named the head coach for the beach program. She will keep her duties as your associate for the indoor game. How will that ultimately help the entire volleyball program?
I think it'll kind of be the same. I think the hardest thing was if there were girls that wanted to play indoor plus beach, just finding a way to keep, train them and have some time indoor and sometimes out. I think that was the hardest part. I think when Dave started it, I think the last couple years was okay. We didn't see last year's one. That's when, there was a lot of girls playing. But yeah, I think just the time and splitting between the both of them.
Is it tough to warm up with a player who their position is a middle blocker?
Okay, not Coach Ange. I think she was one of the last ones, like one of the last middle blockers, because I think right after our senior year, they started implementing the libero. And then, it just became like, okay, if you're tall, you go out in the back and, a 5'3" girl would come in. But Ange passed, she played defense. I mean, she did it all. She didn't come off the court. So I don't think it made a difference. Maybe the height, but.
You and her had one of the best setter middle hitter connections throughout your 4 years. We go to 1996. It's the national championship game. What do you remember about that tournament run that took you guys to the tournament, to that championship? Because to this day, it's still the last time that a Hawaii Rainbow Wahine team played for a national championship.
Really? Oh, I thought Kim then went. Let's not talk about that last game. I try not to watch that last game, but I can talk about the ride, there. You were talking about the setter hitter connection. I don't know. I don't know if it was because we were friends outside or we just had a mutual like, hey, let's get this done. We want to win. And it's the communication between her and I, it just clicked, and if she wasn't feeling something or if I wasn't feeling something, she'd be like, hey, you want to go in early? You want to hit, some balls? Let's practice. And this is like the day before, day of the game. And just having the trust, I think, just building the trust between us. As far as the, leading up to that, I think that was amazing. I don't know before that. Did we lose to BYU that year in the WAC? And then we came back.
I think you guys fell in the WAC tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we played them for the regional finals to get. So that was awesome. We were just like, okay, you can have that WAC, but we're going to the Final Four. So I remember, I was talking about that. And getting there. We don't ever as athletes want to use anything as excuses or anything, but I don't know if anybody out there knows that Angela was very sick, and she had a really high fever the night before, and I gave her props. Like she's like, no, I'm playing, I'm getting on the court. So, as far as that last game, Stanford, and some of them are my friends too, so I played with them on the national team. So.
All right, let's move on from that national championship game. After UH, you went to go on to play professionally. Where did you play, and who did you play for?
The first year I went, because I had no idea about playing overseas. I knew some of our older teammates were doing it. I ended up in Portugal. Good city, really small. Knew nothing about the language, like nothing. Just going over there. It was kind of hard to stay there. You gotta actually this is where I come with the recruiting. You gotta actually like what you're doing and the situation you're in. That didn't work out, so I came back, and the next time I went to Vicenza, Italy. That was awesome. I was coached by Giovanni Vedetti, and he is awesome. He was all USA. I got there, and his house had USA flags, and he was all about the training, and I thought I was gonna somewhat of a break from the national team, but no, this guy just wanted to train and train. I said, okay. And then after that, I went to Switzerland, where I actually ended my career there. And that team, for me, they were awesome to me. It helped me with everything. I obviously had my son. They were like, yeah, bring him over. And he had a whole another family there. So, yeah, I think just those three places I went.
Talking about professional, where were you, and describe the moments when you got the call that you were told you were part of the U.S. national team for the 2000 games in Sydney?
I don't even remember. I think it was just we were in a room, I believe. And I think they just read out a roster. But it's a funny story. So me and Stacey Sakura, she was the libero that year too. We're actually roommates, and we were just the bubble people. And hey, you're staying, you're practicing. You're not really on the team, but you're practicing. So I think we went to Oregon, and we played in this, a scrimmage. And they finally gave us a jersey, and then we just looked in the back and said, hey, let's take a picture. We actually have our names, you know, our last names on the back of the jersey. So I think that's like a cool, like, hey, we finally kind of made the bubble, and then now let's just keep training and see if we actually make the team. But Sydney was amazing. Like, just being called to, only 12 players made it out of the entire U.S. That is an honor, and representing Hawaii was the, you know, the biggest thing. So yeah.
You played in Athens in 2004. We go ahead to 2008. Your final Olympic team roster, you're on the medal stand. Yes, it's not a gold medal. You don't get to hear the anthem, but the fact that you're on the medal stand with your medal, what are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Shoot, amazing. Like, it, okay, obviously everybody wants a gold, but just standing on them, like, there's only 3 that they give out, you know, even a bronze. But I mean, it felt like I accomplished something. I'm gonna try to do this without crying really quickly. So I just felt proud, like, to my mom that passed away, and she actually passed away that year, in February. So yeah, definitely I felt proud of all the things that she did for me to play.
We do need, Coach, we do need to take a break, so stay right there. Tiff Wells here, along with Rainbow Wahine head coach Robyn Amo. You're listening to ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. Welcome back to ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. I'm Tiff Wells. With us today for episode 3 is UH Women's Volleyball head coach Robyn Amo. Now, Coach, take us to 2017. It's February. It's President's Day weekend. Coach Shoji announces that he is retiring as the head coach. You get the call. You're the head coach. You're at the press conference. Did it become full circle to be born and raised in Hawaii? You are a player of the you're a former player of the program, and now you're going to be head coaching this historic program.
I think it's surreal. I mean, when David Matlin came and he took a trip to Las Vegas, that's where I was, in Las Vegas, and he offered me the job there, I just started crying. And it's one, I've never thought that I would ever coach there, you know, growing up, even playing. It's, you know, it's a dream. Especially being born and raised here, public school girl, and it's definitely a dream.
2019, the season we just completed, this player has now graduated from the program, and you've mentioned to me multiple times this player was your headache. She goes on to become Player of the Year in the Big West Conference, All-Region, All-American honorable mention. What impact did Noreen Yosia not just have on this program, but on you?
Oh, patience, definitely, you know. And I told her, this is like not any, you know, hidden things. I didn't know if she was going to actually make it, you know, with me there, because I just knew what I wanted. And what the culture, you know, I wanted to bring to the team. But as everyone could see, this girl's a fighter. You know, in the beginning, was she lazy? Yes, she lazy, you know. And I told her, we had conversations about that. But look at, like, the person she's grown to be. You know, I think she's taught me a lot of patience, and I already kind of knew that, you know, all the players are different, and you don't kind of like treat them differently. You just have to, like, okay, this is how you are. Let me work with you on you know, things like this. But this girl never, like, she does hitting lines, but she never hits as much as some of the other hitters. And I'm just, like, amazed at how, like, okay, girl, you're gonna hit today. Like, I think it was against Fullerton, you know, and, you know, the team it was up and down, and just trying, you know, the coach is just trying to find a way. she's like, okay, didn't give me any problems, didn't give me nothing. She didn't, she was going in and out as just setting, and she hasn't done any hitting at all up to that point. And she's like, okay. She comes in and she's just killing it, and she's a gamer. She's definitely a gamer. When the lights are on and she has to do whatever she has to do, that's her. And she's a huge part of the success of, the program.
This 2020 class, what do you like about them? And maybe just give a few words about each of these incoming recruits for this 2020 squad so that fans can start to get to know these players.
So Kate is a setter from Texas. Been watching her since she was a freshman. Just like her hands, I kind of watched her a couple games the first year, and I looked at Ange and I said, hey, she kind of sets like the Italian setter, Lo Bianco. She's a very good setter. I said, she kind of like plays like her, and I'm just going to keep watching her. So she's a fighter too. She likes to run her team, a leader. So she's one to look for. Anna from Hungary. Yeah, this girl, she's like, I think she's like Ange, she's just like an adult already. She comes in and she's young, but she doesn't act like, a young 18-year-old coming in. And she gets into quarantine and she's just doing her own stuff. Like, this girl is like, Kate, yep, I'm good. No, coach, I don't need this. I am good with the food. You need more food. It's because some of our other girls that came in, they're like, coach, we need more of this. I'm like, oh. But she was like set. She asked me, I don't know if, she might get, I don't know, she might not get mad. She's like, yeah, coach, I just wondering, I'm running out of clothes. So I asked Khalil, hey, how much bags did she bring? She's like, well, just one. I'm like, oh, that's a good girl right there. Instead of just like, 5 that Amber brought in. She's like, I got to wash clothes. And I said, okay. So I'm going to tell you, this is how you do it. And I texted her the whole thing, and she's like, okay, coach, I think I got it. Because I wash clothes. When I played overseas, it's like, okay, different countries, they don't have washing machines or whatever. So I explained it to her, and she takes a picture, and I said, oh my God, that's amazing. So she washed her clothes in the hotel room. She kind of hung it up on like between her chairs, and I was like, awesome girl. So you got to look out for her. Middle blocker, sorry, she's a middle blocker. So yeah. And then we have Sienna. She's walking on middle blocker right side, or maybe outside, from California. We brought her in because obviously we only have 13 girls. She's said she was actually coming to Hawaii to go to school and stuff, and asked, hey, is there any chance that I can walk on? Sure, come on. And, we'll see, what else she can do.
This was just announced earlier this morning, so I wasn't able to give you any sort of heads up about this, but I want your instant reaction. The NCAA announced earlier this morning that the first date of competition for the volleyball season will be January 22nd. Selection show in April, the tournament to run through the month of April. You hear these words, you hear this news. What is your instant reaction?
It's going. I mean, obviously I'm happy. I'm like, okay, something's happening. It's not just going to get, axed and like we're not playing, but definitely exciting. We actually did some stuff yesterday just trying to prepare for that, trying to look at scheduling and, whatnot. We're still crossing our fingers that it happens, because obviously everything, we got to comply with all the NCAA rules with testing and, whatnot. And going to keep praying that there's enough funds to go around to, have the athletes play. That's why I just thank you, like, to all the donors that, continuously support the programs and UH athletics, because without them, it would be very difficult to field any team. Our football team is really big, and our basketball teams are going to play soon too. So we're going to hope that there's still funding, and keep praying. But that's definitely a big surprise.
Do you still get chicken skin when you hear Hawaii Pono'i play to the Stanton Sheriff Center and the best fans in the country, the best fans in the volleyball world, sing the Hawaii state song louder than they do the national anthem for the country?
Awesome. It is an awesome feeling, and yes, I still have chicken skin. I still have chicken skin with the national anthem too. You know, I play for USA Volleyball, and having your anthem played in different countries is pretty awesome. But Hawaii Pony, I love it how all the local people, they just have that pride for where they're from, and they take part in it.
What do you like to do for fun?
Go to the beach. Go to the beach and hang out with my kids and hang out with friends. Yeah, I can't wait till this is all over. You just go to the beach and you're kind of like just with some people, but waiting for the shutdown and all of this craziness to go away.
Have you added a hidden talent during this pandemic?
Negative. I don't know. Zooms. I didn't know how to do Zooms.
One of your players, she's going to be a super senior in the next season. Jolie Rasmussen was part of Bo's Kitchen. She showcased that she really enjoys making apple pie. Is there another chef aspiring to be on your roster that you know about, or possibly one of the members of your coaching staff?
Well, I love to cook. And they were trying to get me on that. I was like, no, I can't. With all the kids like going around, especially I can't do that. But I mean, I love to cook. I cook all the time, barbecue and stuff. But I don't know if there's another, trying to quickly think right now. I think everybody else is a cup of noodles and burritos.
If you're in the kitchen and your three kids like, Mom, make us dinner, what's the one dish that everybody can have together?
Oh man, my kids are so easy. They're like chicken nuggets and whatever. But everybody loves my chicken katsu. That's why I was like, oh, Ron's making some chicken katsu. Okay, let's have a.
And there were some rave reviews on Coach Miyashiro's chicken katsu. Yeah. So we'll have to get yours at one of these days.
I know. But they all eat the chicken katsu, even my baby, so that would probably be the one.
Couple more here, Coach. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say the following people? Angelica Yoonquist.
Awesome.
Kaleo Baxter.
Funny.
Faith Ma'afala.
Oh, sweetheart.
Renee Shigemura.
Goofball.
Puna Kaniho.
Hawaiian.
What sports here at the university do you like to go watch? Who do you like to support and follow when it's not a game night or a game week for the volleyball team?
It's when I can actually get to games, because I gotta watch my kids and taking them. But I've been to basketballs. I like to watch basketballs. We try to get out to soccer games, but those are like the same time as us. I like baseball, going out, and softball. I got to get out to some of the pool sports as well. I haven't gotten out to those. And definitely football. Miss those football games.
If I have a daughter or I have a niece and she's interested in just getting into volleyball, pandemic is going on. It's tough to get to a park, tough to get to a gym to work on your skills. What would you tell them?
If you got a balloon, depends on how old you are, a balloon, one of those like rubber balls, I mean, any kind of, you don't even need the ball, but you can just practice your juggling, because that's, you need that for ball control. Like we do it. I've coached like little kids from Dream's age, like 4 or 5 years old, and they just start with the ball and they just juggle. And it can be, when you're young, a balloon and trying to keep up the balloon, but you don't need a net. You can just practice your ball control and stuff, but get out and get some exercise. Yeah, get off the phones, get off the iPads and stuff, Xbox, PlayStation, get outside and work out.
I remember asking this to you last year, and I'm going to ask it to you again. When you see your team interact with your 3 kids as a mom, as a coach, what does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
It feels awesome. Like, they're so good with them. I don't know what the word is. Thankful and grateful that they love my kids. You know, that's just, you know, they don't have to, but yeah, just grateful.
Finally here, Coach, you've played for, you're now coaching a program that has the most passionate fan base in the country. At a time like this, what is your message to those Rainbow Wahine volleyball fans?
We miss you guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you guys for your continued support of not only women's volleyball, but entire athletics and all the programs. Hope you guys are staying safe. You know, wear your mask. I know there's like a whole bunch of different, you know, I don't know, what is that some people want to, but if we just keep, you know, doing that, and maybe we can get out of this, you know, a lot faster. But yeah, we can't wait to, you know, get back in the stand, Sheriff. And just thank you guys.
Coach, we really appreciate the time you've given us today. Thank you so much. Please continue to stay safe, and we all can't wait to see you on the sideline coaching your team in 2021, whenever that may be. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.